Morning, everyone, and I'd like to take a few minutes to just give a brief introduction to some of the things that are new here on campus. You know, as you look at the year and you realize where we are relative to the budget, you recognize that we might not have as many resources to do as much as we have been doing in the past. The other side of the coin is we have been doing a lot of planning, and we have put together some things that I believe will at least put us in good stead for this academic year. So I'd like to highlight a couple of the items and give you a little bit insight as to what's going on. Let's see if I can find my presentation here, and that doesn't look like it's it. Let's see if this is it here. Hey, that looks like it's it. So at any rate, one of the things that's out there that we would want to be aware of is that, you know, for many, many years we've used paper and pencil. And paper pencils is great. I mean, technology's been around for a long period of time. But in today's world, maybe we could do things a little bit better. So it turns out, for the first time starting in the spring 2010 semester, the majority of our students will actually be applying to college using CCC Apply, a web-based application process. There's been a team working on it for quite some time. Turns out you would recognize that you got to get people trained in order to be able to do things and do things correctly. You have to put processes in place. You have to coordinate a variety of efforts in a variety of places. So coordinating with the CCC Apply people, coordinating here on campus with the folks who do programming for DataTel, coordinating with A&R, all of the things have to be put together in order to make this thing work. Well, it is working now, and our students, in fact, are using this resource to actually apply to Merced College, which is really pretty cool. Another little thing that's out there is that we do have people still who come to our doorstep and say, hey, where's a piece of paper that I can fill out? Because they're not necessarily savvy about how to use the technology. And at this point in time, we have a second entity, a piece of paper, but instead of filling it out in such a way that someone else has to type it into the computer system, why don't we just have a mechanism by which to scan it? And so students who do come to our door, in fact, can actually fill their document out as it would be, and it can be scanned and then placed into our digital system. Again, saving a whole lot of time. And again, this will be used for the first time, spring 10 registration. You've seen on campus a number of large screen monitors, and they, of course, provide a whole host of information. And that information, of course, talks about all kinds of events that are taking place here at the college. There are all kinds of activities that are going on, and we have a number of them. They're over in the student union. I think you've seen them. I think you've seen them in the admin building, and we're trying to put them in other locales. There are two of them going in VRC. There are two of them already in Los Banos. And the idea is that we can, in fact, communicate with our students information. And we're trying to put together some standards so that when people want information put out there, they can, in fact, do that and do that fairly easily. And we have two screens, and most of you probably haven't seen it, but if you go into the lecture building on that second floor, students have come to see a counselor. There's an opportunity for them to actually sign up, and when their turn comes, they are notified. When the screen comes up, shows that information, they know to go find the counselor in the specific room that's there. Pretty neat idea, and it works very nicely for students so that they don't necessarily have to be wandering around. You've seen on campus cameras for security. The entire system has been upgraded this past year. And we find that the cameras are all around campus. We're in pretty good shape in terms of the goal that Dr. Johnson had set several years ago. But we do have cameras. They are different cameras than we've had in the past, although we've taken those that have been in campus and used for some time and incorporated them into this newer system. They all feed back through our network to ITS, and from ITS, then the feeds go out to our security department. And they have one honking big monitor. See on this thing? It's absolutely amazing. You can see a little picture of it up there. They can watch all the cameras basically simultaneously, zoom in at any moment. They're capturing things that's kept for 24 hours, and if there is an issue that needs to be addressed, they have ways that they can, in fact, go back and see that information. Very, very sophisticated system. And talking with our police chief yesterday, he says 1,000 times better than what we had before. So very, very pleased to have that capability. Something new that is out there is our code blue system. It turns out that the phone company this past year said, you know, those we're going to take those out, because that's kind of old, passe technology. Everybody has some kind of cell phone, and they can go ahead and get their phone call taken care of. But that wasn't the issue that we were trying to address. The issue we were trying to address is one where a student on campus who needs some assistance would potentially have a mechanism by which they can contact either security or simply contact our switchboard or to get a hold of the bus. So we have 6 of these on the Merced campus. We have 2 of them in Las Vegas. Potentially, as time goes on, we can find resources to add a few more. But it is a nice system in the fact that it's just push one button. We know it works. I think Dr. Shorter-Each was out there using it the other day. Actually found it works. You push it and somebody sees that there is an emergency or a need for assistance, and they can get that assistance. And of course, last year I indicated that we had a mass communication system, the VisitWeb system. We announced the fact that we had acquired it and it would be installed. It is now installed and fully operational. It does what it's supposed to do. And it is an exterior. Please remember, it is for exterior use, not interior. So if you're inside and it goes off, you're not necessarily going to hear it. It was never designed for interior. We have a whole other thing that the security committee will be looking at to try and deal with the issues associated with interior communication. But even though it works, because every day at noon it goes off. The Westminster chimes chime at noon. And that's the way for us to test the system every day. If you happen to be out on campus and you are standing close to one of those speakers and noon and you don't hear it coming on the speaker, would you let somebody know so we can make sure that it is in fact operational the way it's intended to be? Well, the last thing I want to talk about for this morning in terms of new things is something that we've been planning for quite some time. And it turns out to be basically a new web presence. And you say, well, we need a web presence. We've had a web for Merced College for years. And we have a public web, we have interior or private web. And it's worked well for us. But the problem is that the world has changed around us. And we're now in the midst of upgrading. In fact, we spent a couple of years ago looking at the various technologies. Last year, we actually implemented the technology and our staff trained on how to deal with it at a variety of levels. And we're now here saying it's up and operating. And what the difference is between what we saw in past, or what we can still see in past, and what is out there today, is that we moved from a web presence called a Web 1 presence to what is called a Web 2. And you say, well, what's that? And I think the biggest difference on going from Web 1 to Web 2 is the fact that in this new environment, this SharePoint environment that we have available, that it is interactive. So no longer do you just see a page, maybe click on it and see some information, maybe call up a document that you could actually save to your desktop for later use. But we have an environment that allows you to actually interact with the web. So it's not just, oh, here's a document, but interact with it in some way. And we're not turning this thing on and saying, here it is, take advantage of it. We're saying, we're going to put this thing out in such a way that we're going to look at one specific area. We're going to look at accreditation. So you've heard the RAP, you've heard the quiz, you've heard what the standards are. But the real work is by the committee. The committee has to take and develop that self-study. So we've put together an environment in SharePoint that allows the facilitation of documents. So a person who has appropriate rights, i.e. team members, can call up a document, they can check it out as it would be, and when they check it out, surprisingly enough, it actually comes up and allows you to look at it. It's called the sample. And you can actually say, oh, gee whiz, I'll call it up.